Welcome back to 30 Days to Nirvana. Today's meditation is about consciousness. We're going to be exploring the nature of consciousness. Consciousness is really the root of our experience of life. It's the context, it's the space in which all of our experience arises. So this entire life that you're living, without consciousness, what would it be? Consciousness is what makes life worthwhile. When I was a kid, I sort of identified consciousness with thinking, thoughts. And as far as I can see, a lot of people still do that. I see it in writing, I see it in people that I talk to. People are very identified with their thoughts. They think that if they stop thinking, then it's like consciousness is gone. There's no consciousness. It's like going into oblivion or something. But as we've explored in previous meditations, we have the sight, sound, smell, touch, taste, and the sixth sense in the Eastern paradigm is thought and mind. So in the Eastern paradigm, thought is seen very much like sound or visual stimuli. If you're in a room with no sound, does that mean that you're unconscious? No, you still have your other senses. You still have your sight and your smell and your thoughts, your mind. You still have some experience, you just don't have sound. Same thing if you're blind. Are you unconscious? Well, you don't have the visual stimuli, but you still have consciousness. So in the same way, if you don't have thoughts, you can still be conscious, completely conscious with no thoughts. And this is one of the challenges for a lot of new meditators, is people are scared of what's going to happen when I have no thoughts. People think of it as like there's going to be nothing there. It's not true. You will still have the visual stimuli, the auditory, the kinesthetic, all the other senses will still be operating. And in fact, meditation is not about having no thoughts. Meditation is about not getting caught in your thoughts. Meditation is about not getting dragged off by your thoughts or by any other sensation or stimulus. What we're doing in meditation is we're centering ourselves. We're centering ourselves in the experience of pure consciousness and allowing all the stimuli, be they sounds, sights, smells, tastes, sensations in the body, or thoughts, whatever stimulus you encounter, you let it arise and you let it pass away. And by doing this, we start to come to appreciate the nature of pure consciousness, this empty space in which all these stimuli arise. It is that empty space that we will be concentrating on in this meditation. People sometimes have this sort of judgment of the empty space of consciousness as being some kind of a negative thing, like an oblivion or a void, like nothingness. Not that there's anything wrong with oblivion and void and nothingness, of course, but some people have this sort of negative view of it. But really, that empty space of consciousness is just like this empty space that surrounds us. These rocks wouldn't be able to exist if there were no space to contain them. This body wouldn't be able to exist if there was no space for it to arise within. And in the same way, your thoughts wouldn't have any place to exist if there were no space for them to arise within. Same with all the sensations. And that space can be seen in a similar way to the silence that underlies sound and that allows sound to exist. I'm going to mute the volume on this for a moment. So hear the silence around you and try to hear any sounds within the silence. Hear the sounds that are arising, but also try to listen for the silence between the sounds, the silence underlying the sounds, the silence from which all the sounds arise and into which they disappear. Welcome back. Let's take a few minutes now to experience the silent space that underlies all of experience, all of the senses. Remember that the sounds that you hear don't exist outside of your mind. The sounds that you hear are actually created inside of your mind. Outside of your mind, they're only pressure waves in the air. Pressure waves of air that vibrate your eardrums, and then your eardrums send electrical signals to your brain, and your brain interprets those electrical signals, and that is what you perceive as sound. The same goes for sight. There's no color. There's the color outside of your mind. There's no such thing as color. There's different wavelengths of light that vibrate your rods and cones in your eyeballs, and that sends electrical signals to your brain, and inside of your mind is where the image is created. It's crazy. So keep that in mind as you meditate on your experience of consciousness. Throughout this meditation, we're going to focus on our breathing in our nostrils like we did a couple of days ago. See how those sensations are arising within a larger sphere of consciousness. And see how the sensations in your body at the same time are arising within that same sphere of consciousness. And any sounds that you hear, my voice, for example, also are arising within that sphere of consciousness. I'll see you on the other side. welcome back. I hope you had a beautiful experience of pure consciousness. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing a meditation on entering the realms of bliss, which in the Buddhist paradigm is called piti or sukha. You may have felt the beginnings of this joy and this satisfaction through today's meditation or maybe one of the previous ones. Tomorrow we're going to be delving deeper into that experience. That is one of the more fun and more powerfully blissful of the meditations that we're going to be doing, so make sure to join us for that. If you want to see these videos showing up in your YouTube feed, click subscribe. Don't forget to like this video and leave a comment if you have any questions, if you have any comments, you want to say thank you, or you want to say this was like a terrible meditation. Whatever it is that you want to say, please say it in the comments. Namaste. May you be well.